Good day to you, gentle person, and thank you for joining me as we have a look at Storm Grill. This is a rather nice little incremental game, an active incremental game, not really an idle game. Sadly, I do like my idle games, but this one is a little bit more action-oriented. It has been around for a while. This is not a new game. This came out in 2024 for a game jam. There is the current version of this game jam running at the moment. I almost looked at a game from the current game jam, but it didn't seem quite as polished and quite as enjoyable as this one. So I thought, let me show you this instead, something to play, something to enjoy, and maybe we can look at some of the other games from the current game jam in the following days. We shall see. The game jam is currently in its voting stage, so the entries have finished going in, but the details are linked in the itch.io page for this game. The link will be in the description, so come and have a look at it if you are curious. But focusing on this game, so this is Storm Grill. The idea is that you are a fire and a grill, like a barbecue grill, and it has started raining, and the rain has put you out a bit, but your embers are still smoldering, and you have the ability to upgrade to try and resist the rain and burn through it. And that is what we're trying to accomplish here. We're trying to fend off the rain and remain a proudly burning fire that people can then cook on. Before we jump in and look at the gameplay, we have some options. So we've got the nice quality of life controls that I love to see. We're currently playing easy mode, which is cheaper prices. And we even have a bloom video effects slider, which is nice. This is quite a good looking, quite a sparkly game. I think it's the main reason why I wanted to show it. It is very enjoyable to play and very enjoyable to look at. And we'll go and have a look at it. Let's clicking start. There's a nice kind of intro. You are a grill. Your fire was out, but your ever-burning soul endured the rain. Sky darkens, no storm can keep you extinguished forever. Hold left mouse to evaporate the raindrops. They get stronger over time. So you can pop the raindrops, and every time you pop a raindrop, you get some coins for it, or some credits, however you want to call it. As you can see down at the bottom right, there was our credit count. Down at the bottom left was our hit points. So every time a drop reaches the bottom, we lose a hit point. And then up at the top left here, you can see it says beginner. That's kind of our current difficulty rating, and the longer we last, it just goes up and up, and the word changes to tell us what kind of level of rain we are, and the raindrops get faster and faster, and there are more of them, and they're bigger, and then just do more damage and things like that. So that's the basic gameplay mechanic. You start a session, raindrops fall, hit the bottom, you lose all of your hit points, you gain a certain amount of coins, and then you come here to, as is expected, the upgrade menu. This is quite a nice upgrade menu, actually. It's quite neatly sort of tucked into the corner here. I will say I like this a little bit more than the kind of chaotic, sort of menu items that are drawn by lines and sort of hidden, and you sort of unlock them and things like that. I like this more than that. You can see all of your upgrades here. You can see what they all do. Some of them are locked. Like I think these blue ones are locked. I'm not quite sure how they unlock. I think it's depending on how far you get into the how long your sort of level of rain comes. I think that's what unlocks these, but you don't get told what unlocks them. So yeah, that's it's a bit unclear there. It also says refundable, so I suppose you can refund an item if you decided you didn't want to buy it after buying it. I don't know. Some of them are refundable. I think they're all refundable actually. This isn't refundable. So once you've purchased your health increase, you've got it. Anyway, let us purchase our health increase. I think that's the best one. It costs 3 coins. And we have now 23, so we can buy it again. We can't buy it a third time, but what we can purchase is there's a very, very small chance of getting these golden droplets which give us coins. So I figure we might as well buy one of those. We'll just increase the chance of it arriving. It's a very, very low chance, 0.2%. But it's there anyway. So if you pop them, you basically get a boost of coins. Rather than just 1 coin per drop, you get like 7 or something like that. Yeah, so it's just a little bit of extra coins if we happen to spot them. So let's continue and try and do this a bit more. Our little evaporation thing is a little bit sort of laggy. It's slow. He kind of runs behind a bit as we try and get to what we're aiming for. But there are upgrades for that as well. Alright, so I'm going to continue boosting health because the longer we last, the more raindrops we're able to pop, the better we do. However, we can boost the value of that because you have passive income here. So if you purchase this, just for every second that you're alive, you get a coin. And I like that. And obviously, as you can see, it has multiple levels, so you can get more and more coins for every second that you're alive. And I think that is very, very valuable. So let's purchase that. And we now have a chance to avoid damage when a droplet reaches the grill level. So let's purchase that. It's a small chance, but it just helps us survive just a little bit longer. There's a lot of upgrades here. I'm not going to go through each one. You can come and have a look at them, but if we play for a little while, we'll see what a lot of them do. And I think how valuable they are when we get there. But yeah, so we can do this. Now we do have passive income, so technically if we found a way to kind of just restart the game, which there doesn't seem to be, but we would be able to just leave the game looping and just passively make money, which would turn it into an idle incremental, which I quite like. I kind of wish it allowed it to do that, but unfortunately it doesn't. So yeah, we could boost out. I know that's double the chance. We can make our dissolver a bit bigger. We can make it so we regenerate health. So every second we get a health point back again. I think it's a small increase and it only sort of scales up to 5 levels, but it does help you last just a little bit longer. So let's grab that, and then we can boost our health by 15 points. Yeah, and that's it. It is actually remarkably satisfying to pop these. I think this is the real enjoyment of the game. Ooh, almost got it there. As you can see, there's the golden drops which you want to try and get. There are also these kind of purple triangles that drift down like a drop, and you want to avoid those because if you actually pop them, they do a big chunk of damage to you. But if they make it to the bottom, they don't do any damage. And it is... I find that so difficult. It's actually such a nice challenge because I see something of a particular color. My hand is moving the cursor towards that before I've even really finished processing it consciously. And then I see it and I'm like, oh no, I don't want that. And I try to drag my cursor away, but I'm already on it and I'll already pop it. So it's a fun little challenge, and there is an upgrade to make them less common in appearance. And I thought at first when I saw it, I thought, I'm going to avoid those. I don't need to spend any money on that. But then I realized the number of them I hit. So anyway, let's purchase some more health. I think it's a good one to max out. What we can do here is we can make our evaporation blob bigger. So let's do that. And since this is really cheap, this is a firestorm, so it just kind of shoots a little column up and down that deletes a bunch of drops in it just every so often, just randomly. These are like all random mechanisms over here. I might as well get that. Alright, we should see it just now. It'll trigger. I don't know what causes it to trigger. I think it's just a random chance per per tick per second, as it were. There it goes. Alright, but we still lost, so power up. We have 93 coins, so we're doing quite well. Let's increase the chance to avoid damage. And that was all we could afford. I'm not going to play too much longer. How much does that cost? 600. Okay, we're quite far away from that. It's a pity. I quite like that, because that once you get these things, that really adds like excitement to the screen, because you have these big shimmering sparkles that appear and cover the screen with red shimmers. And then if you buy this one, I guess that's locked because that relies this, so you have to purchase this, and that will then unlock these two. So that's why some of them are locked. And health 2 is locked because you got to finish health 1 first. Anyway, so I wish we could afford these, but I don't think we're going to be able to play that far in this showcasing. Let's see where we get to. Oh, I'm getting them all so far. What? No, that's it, missed. But hopefully I gain some health there, so it will last a little bit longer. Get some coins. Alright, 111 coins. Now what I want to get here, this is another very, very useful, powerful upgrade here. So every time a drop reaches the bottom and does damage, you have a 20% chance to gain a coin for that. You eventually make it a 100% chance. So this is a very valuable one to increase here at 60. Make this move a little bit faster. What is this? Small chance of double coins. No, I think making this move a little bit quicker is a bit more valuable than that. So now we have a little bit less lag when we move around. Almost got them. Yeah, this bit is actually really surprisingly satisfying. You wouldn't think so, but it is actually really, really enjoyable. Ooh, 150 coins. We're doing quite well. Let's just boost our health. That seems to be the most immediately useful one. I'm trying to kind of your eye starts looking for little clumps of drops, tries to spot lumps of it where you can get the maximum number of drops deleted by wiggling over them. We can't do health, but we can do the avoid damage one. Let's keep going. Help us last a little bit longer. What it means, put drops on the far sides of the screen. Yeah, there's that kind of moment at first of just trying to delete as many drops as possible, but you do get to the point where you can just swing your cursor backwards and forwards across it, and it sort of deletes a lot of them. Now what we can do here is boost the amount of damage our blob does, so make him a little bit more effective at actually deleting the dots, because they last for just a brief second inside it, but if you can get it hot enough that they die quite easily, then just a brief mouse over will actually... Oh, you see that was a purple thing, and I saw that, but by the time I saw it, my cursor was already pretty much moving onto it, because my subconscious has just gone, oh, there's a colored thing, let's get it. Yeah, I don't know. Boost our health regeneration, I guess. What is this? Chance for double the coins. Yeah, let's get that. Why not? It's only a 2% chance, but why not? I wonder if it affects the drops at the bottom as well as when you mouse over them. It's not clear about that, unfortunately. Delete. Oh, I managed to avoid the purple one there. I didn't hit it, but we ran out of life anyway, so it didn't make much of a difference. But it was something. Let's increase that. Oh, I do want to buy this because I have to hold down the left mouse button to make the thing come up. But instead of holding it down, if I click this, you can see I've now purchased all levels of it because I only had one level, but now the blob appears as a default. I don't have to hold down the mouse button, so it relaxes my finger a little bit. This doesn't really help the gameplay much, but it does help my hand tiredness quite a bit. So yeah, so now I'm just there perpetually. It actually helps me move the mouse a little bit better because I'm not tense on the mouse. Trying to do it. Oh, I did quite well there, stopping a lot of those drops. Maxed out the amount of time my regen had to boost my health. And there goes Firestorm. Oh, we've got a couple of the yellows there. Alright. And I think that's all the gameplay I'm going to show. Look, you can obviously see where this is going. The drops get more and more exciting things happen on the screen. It becomes a very, very spectacular looking game when you get to the later levels and there's huge amounts of rain. And you do eventually, quote unquote, win if you can survive long enough. The rain does eventually stop and you kind of win, but it still lets you carry on playing with other options. Well, you can keep buying the upgrades because I hadn't bought anywhere near like all of the upgrades when I finally won the game. Yeah, so it is well designed. It was great. It is a lot of fun. I did see the most recent update to it was 86 days ago, so I'm hoping that does mean that they are still working on it a bit. I saw there was a link to their Discord in the game sort of start menu. In fact, we can go back to the menu. Actually, I prefer the upgrade menu music. I gotta say, not anything is wrong with the music, but it is a little bit more enjoyable. I hope all this music is okay for YouTube. I don't quite monetize videos yet, so things that it throws a fuss about are less of a concern as long as I don't get any copyright strikes or anything. But yeah, I still don't want to try and use up goodwill from YouTube. So I always worry about this music. Anyway, hopefully it's fine. So yeah, so that's all the gameplay I'm showing, other than a little bit more if I want to try and demonstrate something. So we're going to talk about the critiques now. So if you are here just for the gameplay, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and or comment and or subscribe if you want to see more indie games. And don't forget to dislike if you dislike the video, but at least leave me a comment telling me why you disliked it, or a comment telling me why you liked it. I like to hear from you guys. It's good for the video as well. I won't try and hide that fact, but I do actually personally like to hear from you guys. I like to see those comments waiting for me. It brings a smile to my face. So thank you. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video if you're heading out. If, however, you are staying to watch the critiques, well, first of all, the UI is quite excellent. I think a little bit more tidying up could be done here in the upgrade menu. Like, spread it out a bit. It's weirdly tucked into the corner. Put it into blocks to show that these are like health upgrades. This is your mouse over thingy upgrades. This is the Firestorm upgrades, and so on. Kind of separate them out so they're obviously in their groups rather than just the placement. I don't know. I'd find that more comfortable, and kind of blocking things up and making them elements is a good way to kind of calm the brain down about thinking about things, because you get overwhelmed when you have lots of options. You can only really think about 7 options at a time on average, most people. But if you draw boxes around the options, then you can disregard the boxes that you're not looking at, and suddenly it is just under 7 options, and you can think about them a little more easily, a little bit more comfortably. So yeah, always consider blocking your screen controls and things like that. So yeah, so the UI is fine. Sounds are very, very comfortable. I like the rain sounds. There could be a bit more background noise while you're actually deleting the dots, rather than playing music. Just have that background of the rain, make that the background sound. That would be my suggestion there. Makes it a bit more relaxing, a bit more comfortable to play. Yeah, I mean, as it is, it's absolutely fine. I like the sounds. The art of the game is quite good looking. It looks even better as you go further on. It's a little bit stylized, but that's the game. That's the gameplay concept. Yeah, so I have zero issues with the artwork. I like the background of the blue and the red and things like that. As I said, the upgrade menu needs a little bit sort of tidying up, a little bit of cleaning up and organization, but it's still more than functional and very visibly pleasing and things. Nice I love this effect where you mouse over the controls and it pops up information about it there. I guess that's why it's all aligned right, so you can have the left for your information box. Maybe put it down there or something like that so you can spread them out a bit. I don't know. Still, it's nice. It's not entirely as comfortable as it could be. Otherwise, I think this game's good looking. I like the sparkles. I like the blue effects and blah blah blah. Pretty game. Which brings us to the gameplay, and I like the basic idea of you're popping the drops. It's comfortable, it's fun, it's enjoyable. What I don't like is that at the end of a round, it should pop up a statistics menu, at the very least in your upgrade thing. Let's have statistics about the last runs. Let's have graphs. Let's have all of that kind of information available to you if you want to see it. So yeah, have your options for like power up or try again or menu or something like that. But the center of the screen should be you destroyed 100 blue drops and 3 golden ones and 1 purple thing, because I didn't know if how often did I hit the purple ones without being aware of it, because they were just hidden amongst the other drops and all of that kind of stuff. Give me a little bit more information so I have that information to think about while I'm here going, I should buy these things. I'm not hitting a lot of golden dots, or I am hitting a lot of golden dots, so maybe I should sink money into giving them more stuff. And let's give us stats. Let us make information-based decisions rather than just vibe-based decisions. There'll always be a bit of mix of both, but that would be nice. It would be nice to know more about what happened during our sort of playing session, to then see how we're doing and how well we're doing, because the only thing I can judge on is on the amount of credits I have left at the end of a session. I don't know if I did better or worse or whatever. So yeah, give us that information. That's what I would like to see there. Otherwise, the gameplay is fun. Also, I don't really like the additional evaporation thing, because you buy this and it bounces around the screen. Let's see if we can just run a thing and make enough money to actually get one of those, so I can show you what I'm talking about. Zap, zap, zap. Yeah, I would much rather have the rain going in the background than this music. But I get it. It kind of builds up and it gives you more tension as the rainstorm gets more and more intense. And there's a nice thunder thing there. But I don't know. I wouldn't want the music. I'd much rather have just the sound of a rainstorm. Like a drizzle at first, then getting more and more thundery and intense as it sort of scales up together with the increasing difficulty of the storm. Alright, so power up, we can buy this lad. So it's this, and he floats around and he does pop some drops, but I found him more distracting than interesting or fun or comfortable. I don't know, it would have been perhaps nicer to have had him on the side almost went for the purple, like as a sort of a second dot that moved on the side of my main dot, kind of moved with me or widened it out or something like that. I don't know. Like, you buy things like that because it sort of triggers that thing that people like in games and MMOs and that for pets. You kind of think of it as a pet that bobs around. But I found them quite useless and just a distraction. So I don't really like how he works. And then you can buy up to 4 of them, as you can see there. Kind of late game when you had the heat waves and all of that stuff happening. He was quite enjoyable as part of the excitement, as part of the chaos that was happening. So I suppose they're okay for that. You get a little gold one as well that does his thing. But I don't know. Whatever was aimed for there, I don't think it quite makes it. Still, it's fine. It was absolutely fine. Other than that, the game feeling is great. I like the little story behind it. I don't think it needs much more story work, unless you want to throw in all sorts of lore about it being like a fire spirit or something. I don't know. I mean, that's all possible. There's viable there, but I think just the basic idea of you're the grill trying to stay alive, or rather the fire in the grill trying to stay alive under the rain. It's very identifiable. Identify withable. It's very, very immersive. It's very, very, very much a flag to march behind, and I like that a lot. So for once, this is an excellent indie game with that element in it that I think is well written, is well included, despite the fact that it's very simple. And on that note, I'm going to head out. I'm going to let you guys either go watch more videos from either mine or someone else's, or go and play the game. Link is in the description. But I am very appreciative that you all have watched the video. Yeah, thank you very much. And I hope to see you in the next video. And I hope you have a really good day. Goodbye.